Welcome to the Intuitive Eating and Body Positivity podcast. I'm Terry and I'll be talking about all things intuitive eating, body positivity and health at every size, and shaking off weight stigma, diet culture and food rules so that we can all have a better relationship with food and our bodies. Hello. How are you? How's your week been? Mine's been pretty good. Busy. Feels like it's been a really busy week, but all good. Let me tell you about my shopping trip right now. You know how much I hate food shopping. Absolutely detest it. Well, I thought this time I'm going to try something different. I had a really busy day on the Sunday coming up, and I usually do my food shopping on a Sunday, which meant that I had to do the food shop on a Saturday, and that is the worst. It is the worst. They've got everybody out doing the picking and packing for the online food shops and for the people who are doing the click and collect. Every man and their dog seems to be in there doing their weekly shop. Obviously me included when I'm there on a Saturday. Oh, it's just horrible. I just hate it. You can't move. You're constantly banging into people. You're constantly like, oh, excuse me. You can't see the shelves because there's always someone stood in front of you, and everybody seems to just come and stand in your way, don't they? You stand back to have a look at the shelf and they come and they stand right in front of you. You're like, hello? Hi, I'm right here. Please get out of my way before I lose the plot and erupt. God, I hate it. So I thought, right, this time, if I have got to go on a Saturday, I'm going to sort this out and do something different. And all you lunchtime shoppers, off you go. But I am not going to be there. I decided I was going to go really early in the morning. I was going to set my alarm on a Saturday morning. I was going to get up and go to the supermarket really, really early. And I did. And I was there before 8 o'clock in the morning. It was heaven. It was the best thing ever, honestly. I can't tell you. There was nobody there, just the odd one or two shoppers mulling around, enjoying the peace and quiet of themselves too. There were no trolleys with staff picking for online food shops and for people coming to click and collect. There were no crates where the staff were trying to fill the shelves because they'd already done it and they didn't need refilling again. It was brilliant. And I left there at about 9 o'clock. Yeah, it must have been about 9 o'clock, just before 9 o'clock. And as I was leaving, it was starting to get busy. And there was starting to be people picking the online food shops. And there was starting to be people come through the door and, ramming their trolleys around the place. And I walked out of there with my very smug face on and a trolley full of shopping as people were coming in with their empty trolleys. I waved them a cheery goodbye and off I went. Yep. Oh, it was brilliant. So that's what I'm going to do now, I think. I am absolutely going to go at silly o'clock in the morning. I'll do it on a Saturday. It is done and dusted for the week. The foods are full of food then. The foods are full of food? Nope. The cupboards are full of food. The fridge is full of food. We're all set for the week and I don't have to worry about it. And also what I found was Saturday seemed to last longer. I was looking at the clock at 11, 12 o'clock thinking, oh, it must be mid-afternoon by now. No. So I seem to have gained myself an extra couple of hours in the day. Oh, it was brilliant. I loved it. What I didn't love was trying to get Luna to the vet. So I told you I was going to update you, didn't I? Luna had to go to the vet to have her vaccinations. And if you are listening to this episode as the first episode, you won't know the back history with the cats. Well, Luna is the most anxious, nervous, people-fearing cat I have ever met in my life. I had to take her to the vet for her vaccinations. I knew that this was going to be a struggle. I knew it. I got a fresh, brand new carrier from the shop and thought that would be a good option because it wouldn't smell of any other cats. It wouldn't smell of the vets. I could just put her blanket in it and we'd all be good to go. The problem is I have to get her into the carrier. Now, days before, what I'd done is tried to pick her up just once, just gently, to see if I could pick her up, ready to put her in the carrier. And I'm going to say it's a resounding no. No, I lost skin and I lost blood that day. That was not fun. And it was in a split second. So this was going to be an absolute nightmare. If you could see the fight that I had to put up to get her in the carrier, because I was at home on my own as well. It was both laughable and ridiculous all at the same time. It was such hard work. It was such hard work. I got her in there eventually. But by the time I got her in there, I looked around. The two sofas were not where they were supposed to be. The TV was on the floor. The curtains and blinds were wide open. And there were cushions everywhere. It was not this onslaught. You know, I wasn't just like creating havoc and slinging things around the place. But equally, it was not fun and it was not calm. But anyway, I got her to the vet. She was not happy to be in the carrier, regardless of the fact that it was brand new and all for her. Why does she not know that these things are just for her? In fact, going to the vets for vaccinations is all for her. I wish she knew that. But I got her there. She was pretty good with the vet, in all fairness. She had a bit of a moment where she was like, I don't like it. And she was just trying desperately to get out, but she wasn't too bad. And vets obviously have this magic way of being able to handle cats. Either that or she just froze and, you know, just didn't know what to do other than stay still and let us get on with it. But by the time I got her home, oh, she was not happy, lover. And as we came up the front steps towards the house, she must have sensed that she was home because she was like, oh, let me out, let me out, let me out, let me out. Anyway, the vet has recommended a plug-in. So I've got a plug-in now with a hormone thing. So hopefully that's calming her down and making her feel less anxious. And we're also going to consider talking to a cat behaviourist. That was the vet's suggestion. So that might next be the route to go down. We will see. But, yeah, got to do it all again in 2 weeks. She's got to go back for the second round because vaccinations are done in 2 rounds when they're brand new. Wish me luck. Okay, so this week's episode was suggested by Rose, one of my lovely listeners all the way from Canada. Hey, Rose. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening and thank you for sending your suggestion in. She asked about hedonic eating. And I thought, yeah, let's talk about that. That's a great idea. So hedonic eating is when we eat for pleasure rather than hunger. And it's something we all do. It's completely normal, but it can feel a bit tricky when we're trying to rebuild our relationship with food. So in this episode, we're going to look at what hedonic eating really is, why it's not a bad thing, and how we can enjoy food without spiraling into guilt or, you know, the overeating that comes after that. And yeah, I think that's what Rose is looking for. She said she didn't really know an awful lot about it, just that it's something to do with mindful eating. And let's get into it. Let's talk about it and I'll explain it anyway. So hedonic eating is, in its simplest definition, just eating for pleasure. Not eating because you're hungry, not eating because you're going to fuel yourself for some activity, but just eating for pleasure. So, you know, when you have snacks while watching TV, and I'm willing to bet that that's quite often in the evening, and afterwards you're like, I wasn't even hungry. What did I eat that for? This is what hedonic eating is. It's just eating because you enjoy it. Things like birthday cake, that's a prime example. If somebody offers you a slice of birthday cake, do you go, am I hungry? Do I need it right now? What kind of food do I fancy? No, you don't. You just enjoy the birthday cake along with everybody else. And you're like, thank you very much. I really enjoy it. Popcorn at the cinema, that sort of thing. All these instances where you just want to eat because you enjoy it, not because it's going to serve a purpose. This is totally normal. Eating for pleasure is a part of life. It's tied into so many activities and experiences and events. And if we tried to take away the food aspect, these things would be completely different. You shouldn't just eat because you need to fuel yourself. You shouldn't just eat to satisfy your hunger. You should eat because it's pleasurable. It's part of life. So think about this. When was the last time you ate just for pleasure? What was the last thing you ate just because you enjoyed it, just because you wanted it? And how did that feel for you? Were you able to enjoy it? Or did you feel guilty? Did you feel like you needed to make up for it? Did you feel like you need to cut back on some foods later or do some more exercise or something? Just interesting to look back and think, when you last ate just because you enjoyed it, how did that feel to you? That might change from time to time as well. Some days you might be perfectly fine with it. Other days you might give yourself a bit of a beating for it. But let's just make this a part of normal everyday life, right? When hedonic eating is used as a coping mechanism, though, for emotions, for stress, for boredom, for loneliness, that sort of thing, or when it feels like you can't stop, eating past fullness, not enjoying it, feeling out of control, that sort of thing, that's when it becomes a struggle. And then that for me is not necessarily hedonic eating anyway. That's just eating. That's eating, because I think when you're in those types of situations, you're not actually eating because you enjoy it. You're not eating past fullness because you can't stop, and that's because you're enjoying it too much. If you can't stop eating, that's not because you're enjoying the food so much. It is all right to eat past the point of fullness if you're really enjoying a food, absolutely. But you do it because you've made the decision to do it, not because you can't stop, not because you've lost the control around it. The same with emotions. If you are eating for emotional reasons, if you're eating because you're stressed or you're bored or you're lonely, whatever it is, you're not eating because you really enjoy that food. You're eating as a response to the emotion. And then that can trigger the guilt cycle. The eating, feeling bad, trying to restrict, craving more, eating, feeling bad, trying to, it's that whole cycle. And the hidden link with restriction is when you don't allow yourself certain foods, the desire for them builds up. It just does. That is the way you are geared up to be. That is the way your body is designed to be. So when you don't allow yourself these foods, the desire builds up, then you eat them, you eat more of them, you eat without control, you eat without consideration or mindfulness, and then you get into this guilt, and then you try to restrict, and then you crave more. It's that cycle. Sometimes what we label as a lack of willpower is actually just a natural response to restriction, to stress, or to some kind of unmet emotional needs. That's a different thing. These are things that you would tackle aside from this. This is not hedonic eating. What intuitive eating actually says is that you should enjoy eating. You should have satisfaction. There is a principle of intuitive eating, and it's a key part of intuitive eating, and it often gets overlooked, is that principle of satisfaction. You are allowed to want your food to taste good. There is nothing wrong with enjoying what you're eating. When you actually enjoy your food, you're more likely to stop when you feel full and when you feel content. There is a difference between savouring your food and zoning out, and this is kind of the mindful bit of it. You can taste and enjoy the food. You can focus on it. You can think about it. You can revel in how much you're enjoying it. This doesn't have to be a shameful thing. You are allowed to enjoy your food. So you can sit there with this food, enjoying every mouthful, really savouring it, really getting into it, really enjoying it. And that's so much better than zoning out completely. Just eating, just checking out, not paying attention, just putting the food in your mouth. You think you enjoy it, great. It's foods that you typically really love to eat, great. But you're just putting it in your mouth, and that is that. Guilt, though, takes away that pleasure. It leaves us stuck in that loop. And there's no need to feel guilty. You don't need to zone out. You don't need to just ram it in. You can enjoy it. You can just savour it. Your body is designed to do this, though, right? So let's do a bit of a sciencey bit. Not massively sciencey. Let's not get into the technicals of it. But your body is designed so that foods that are high in fat or sugar or salt, all the good stuff that makes food taste nice, activates the brain's reward system. Okay? So when you eat something that you really enjoy, when you eat those foods, the sugary stuff, the high fat stuff, the salty stuff, the stuff that you eat and you go, ooh, this tastes so good. Your brain goes, yes, 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 I love this. We need more of it. It releases dopamine. And that is your kind of feel-good hormone. We need it, especially when we are tired or feeling low or we're stressed. That dopamine hit brings us back up a bit. And let me get this clear. This is not an addiction to food, okay? There are lots of studies out there that talk about food addiction. There are lots of people out there with different opinions on what these studies mean and what food addiction really is. There is certain definitions for what addiction is. And addiction typically means you either need more of it to be satisfied, and your body physically relies on it. Those are two really key points in addiction. So if we liken this to drug use, people quite often compare sugar to cocaine. How bizarre is that? But let's talk about it in terms of drug use. If you are a drug user, over time, you need more and more and more of the same drug to have the same effect on the body, to have the same high, to achieve the same feelings that you achieved when you were starting to take it. And also, along with drug use comes physical addiction. So your body gets used to it, your body needs it, wants it, craves it. And then if you don't have it, your body responds to that. So there's the headaches, there's the shakiness, there's potentially sweating, that sort of thing. Same with caffeine. Caffeine's a drug, right? In these sort of terms, I guess. When you first start with caffeine, when you first start drinking coffee or caffeinated drinks like Coke, you quite quickly get the high that caffeine gives you. The energy burst, the mental clarity, that sort of stuff. Over time, that hit is not so quick and it is not so prominent, and you end up needing a couple of cups of coffee in the morning to get you going. Or a constant drip of coffee through the day, maybe. That is the way it works because it is a drug. And also, if you don't have it, oh my goodness, have you ever tried to come off caffeine completely? I did it. I'm sure I talked about it actually earlier in the podcast, many, many moons ago. It is horrible. I found it absolutely horrible. I used to drink an awful lot of caffeinated Pepsi or caffeinated Diet Coke, for example. It is horrible. I decided to go cold turkey and just stop drinking it because I was needing to drink too much. So I thought I'd stop and just go through that phase where it makes you feel crappy. And sure enough, it absolutely did. My head was pounding for days and days. I thought it was never going to end. And I felt low and I lacked energy and it was horrible. That was my body saying, I've been used to having this drug. Where is it? I want it. That is addiction. Oh, and just in case you're worried, no, I did. I got off it. I'm all right. I can just drink it every now and again. Not very often. I actually drink a lot of decaffeinated Pepsi now. That's what I like because these companies are good and they provide caffeine-free versions. So not criticising anybody out there who likes their caffeine, obviously. You do you, boo. But for me, I wanted to get rid of it. I didn't think it was very good for my body and I decided to come off it. And it's great. I like not having caffeine now. However, to go back to the point, this is what your body does. When it is a true addiction, your body needs and wants and will demand whatever it is that you stop providing. Food simply does not do that. Food does not do that. So you can get what feels like an addiction. You can get what feels like an addiction because your body gets used to it and likes it and enjoys it and asks for it. If you suddenly stop eating chocolate and sweets and ice cream and that sort of stuff, your body's going to go, I'm used to having a bit of sugar. Where's the sugar? That's quick energy. Where is my energy gone? But it's more of a case of, where has my energy source gone? These things that are highly palatable foods are high fat and high sugar, and those are fuel sources. So that's what your body's actually asking for. It's not that you're addicted to the food, it is that your body is asking for the energy hit, essentially. And the fact that you're not hitting that brain reward system anymore. You're not getting those dopamine hits, and that's what your body likes as well. So you're not actually addicted to it. It's just your brain has evolved to prioritize high energy food. And doesn't diet culture love to make us feel like there's something wrong with us for enjoying food? God forbid you should actually enjoy a dessert, huh? But people do. And you do get criticised or judged, or you feel like you're criticised or judged, even if you're not, for enjoying foods that people typically deem as junk food or stuff that you don't really need to eat. But there isn't anything wrong with that. You've got to have the pleasure in the food. When you restrict those foods, physically or mentally, they become desirable. This is where the whole I'll start again on Monday mindset leads to overdoing it beforehand. Binging becomes more likely. It feels like it's a now or never opportunity. So when you restrict things, your body goes, it's going to be ages before I'm allowed to have this again. So you end up in binges. But when you stop that restriction and you start actually allowing yourself to enjoy this food, the obsession fades and the food just loses its power, quite frankly. I have had plenty of clients say to me that when they finally allowed themselves to have the biscuits, the chocolate, the cake, whatever, they stopped calling my name anymore. There is a Real Stories episode, and it's when I talk to Sophia, and she will tell you in that episode all about her relationship with the cakes at the cake shop and how she couldn't even go into a cake shop because she feared how much she would want to binge on the cake. And then when she started allowing herself to eat it, she's like, I don't even really want it anymore. I'm not really that bothered anymore. The same with the chip shop. She used to have chips on a Friday night, fish and chips. And as soon as she made peace with that and started appreciating that she could enjoy it, then she didn't really feel that bothered about it. And that's what happens. The fact is that guilt just makes everything harder. That guilt that you feel after eating something you enjoy makes everything harder to deal with. So what if we just let it in and just enjoyed the food, right? What if we started to see that satisfaction as a powerful tool in your toolbox? What if you could see that after having something that really is enjoyable, it means that you don't need more of it after. If you allow yourself to eat it, you don't go hungry, you don't have to go rummaging in the cupboards, you don't feel like you're always looking for that thing to satisfy you. You can just eat and just enjoy it. Okay, so how do we bring hedonic eating into intuitive eating and eating with a bit of mindfulness and awareness? Well, firstly, just slow down. Just slow it down. If you're going to eat food that you enjoy, brilliant. If you're going to eat food that you enjoy and you focus on that food, even better. So get the food. Intentionally get the food. No hiding it. You don't need to have it with a side of an excuse. You don't have to go and get it and just say, oh, just have a little bit. If you want to get the bar of chocolate out the cupboard, get the bar of chocolate out the cupboard. If you want to get the tub of ice cream and sit there with a spoon, do that. Don't make excuses for the food you're eating. Own it. You're going to have this food. You enjoy it. So slow down with the food. Sit there with it. Take a breath. Taste it. Really taste it. Even just taking a bit of a pause between mouthfuls can really shift how present you are. If you can take a minute, or not a minute, but a moment to really taste the food and enjoy the flavors and the textures, you can really appreciate the food, really enjoy the food, and then that's going to stop you having these binge moments where you just try and eat it and get rid of it because, just eat it and then it's gone kind of thing. Choose consciously as well. You still can choose consciously. You still can eat intuitively while eating foods that you really enjoy. So, say you're at a restaurant, you can choose a dessert based on how you feel. Do you fancy something warm and stodgy like a chocolate fudge cake with custard? Or do you fancy something cold and crunchy like a sundae, like an ice cream sundae that's got some crispy bits in it, like some chocolate bits or wafer or something like that? You can choose. That's a really easy way to do it, actually, is if you've got a menu in front of you, look at it, intuitively think about what you want to eat, what you feel like eating. And then you have the best of both worlds. You have food that you love and food that satisfies what your body's asking for. I'll do it. Quite often, I'll be like, what do I fancy today? Some days I really fancy something like a crumble, like a rhubarb crumble and custard. Other days, ice cream is the only thing that's going to hit the spot. You just choose in the moment based on what your body feels like it needs. And you can do it at home as well. I want something sweet. I want something snacky. I want something crispy. What do I want? What do I want? And you can just rummage through the cupboards going, what is it that I fancy? Maybe one day it'll be that you want some ice cream out of the freezer. Maybe another day you want a bag of crisps. You just have to go with what your body is telling you need in that moment or want in that moment. So you can do intuitive satisfaction, if that makes sense. You can still enjoy the food, but you can choose intuitively. If you have a bar of chocolate on the side at home and you're eating it, but you don't really want it, you're actually probably not going to enjoy it that much anyway. You're just eating it because it's there. And that's not really true hedonic eating, is it? That's not eating for the satisfaction of it. That's eating because it's there. Let go of the guilt. It does not serve you. Food is not bad. Pleasure is not bad. I don't know where this comes from in life. I don't know why people think pleasure in lots of different forms is bad. There's so many things in life that we enjoy that we're told we shouldn't enjoy. We're told we shouldn't enjoy lounging around on the on the sofa on a Sunday, we're told we shouldn't enjoy we shouldn't enjoy the touch of another human being. You know, we shouldn't enjoy intimate activity. Let's say that, because I don't know who's listening. We shouldn't enjoy food. We shouldn't enjoy drink. It's I don't know where it comes from. I don't know where it comes from. But we're told that these things that bring us such pleasure should not be enjoyed. And that's just not right. People bake, right? People bake for enjoyment. If we took away all food enjoyment and only ate for fuel and for hunger, well, there simply would not be any bakers left in the world, would there? There'd be no little patisseries in France. There would be no fancy Italian desserts. None of it. It wouldn't exist anymore. You have to enjoy it, and you have to do it without guilt. But you can check in with yourself after as well. This is really important. If you are eating for satisfaction, if you are hedonic eating, you can ask yourself after how you feel. Are you satisfied by what you ate? Are you regretful for what you ate? Do you actually still want something else? It's okay to check in, as long as those feelings don't include guilt. It's nice. It's nice to check in and be like, actually, I really enjoyed that chocolate. I really enjoyed that bag of crisps. I really enjoyed that slice of bread and butter. Whatever it is. You can check in, see how you feel, and see if it was the right decision for you at that time. Because sometimes we think that that's what we want to eat, and then afterwards we're like, that wasn't really what I wanted, I don't think. I'm not sure what I wanted, but I don't think that's quite hit the spot. So check in afterwards. If you're going to eat it, give yourself permission to enjoy it. No guilt, no rush, okay? So there we go. It's a little bit about hedonic eating. I think it covers what it is and how it's okay, explored it from a few different angles. It's not something to fear. It's not something to fix. It's just something to understand and work with, not against. If the episode brought up anything for you, or you'd like to talk about your relationship with food in a safe and supportive space, don't forget I have one-to-one coaching, I have a group membership, and you can find the links to those in the show notes. And if you've got a question or a topic that you'd like me to chat about for you, just like Rose did, then send it my way. Rose, I hope I covered this for you. I hope this is what you were looking for. But yeah, if you have something you'd like me to cover on the podcast, literally just send me a message or an email. That's what Rose did. This email popped up in my inbox. And she was like, how about this for the podcast? I was like, brilliant, yes. And it's good because it also gives me ideas for what I can talk about. Because let me tell you, coming up with something new every week, not always that easy. So happy to take the help. Yeah, just drop me a message if you've got any burning questions that you want me to cover. Before I go, let's do a listener comments section. I had some great comments over the last couple of episodes, honestly. I just love them so much. On my YouTube channel, Ray said, this was in response to why I still eat overnight oats. I love overnight oats. I use almond milk instead of yogurt, and the add-ins vary, but my absolute favourite is frozen banana, walnuts, and chocolate chips, dark chocolate chips. Tastes like banana nut bread. Yeah, nice. I love that. Bit of variety, bit of flavour. Bubble tea is fun, and milk teas are my favourite. Do you know what? I've never been a fan of actual tea, but bubble tea, yeah, I'm really enjoying that at the moment. I think that's going to be the drink of my 2025 summer. But then also said, what is cork? Cork, I clearly didn't explain this in the episode. So cork is spelt Q-U-A-R-K, and it's basically a soft cheese, but Slimming World likes to adopt it as an alternative for very many things. So it ends up in lasagnas, and it ends up being sweetened and used instead of cream and all that sort of thing. It's very, very bizarre. And Ray also said, I find it really bizarre that lasagna sheets would be considered a healthier replacement for actual tortilla chips. Aren't they basically the same? Well, yes, You would think so, wouldn't you? But the crazy things that we do on a diet. And Ray's absolute no-go for substituted or changed up recipes on a diet is unsweetened shredded wheat with plain unsweetened yogurt. Tastes about as good as it sounds like it would. I remember doing that. Crumbling up shredded wheat and mixing it into yogurt. Why do we do these things? It's just so bad. Tasha found the scabby old Tupperware comment amusing. Do you know what? Sometimes there's just no other way to describe these things. Tell me you don't have scabby old Tupperware. What else? Ellen said, oh my days, Slimming World was the worst I got with food. Eating 6 Baby Bell lights in a day and 15 cashews as my healthy extras. Oh, I know. And that's what they do. They make us pick up these really weird habits and we end up eating stuff that we wouldn't usually eat just to eat. Pixie's bugbear is no healthy snacks in coffee shops. Oh, that's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, I know. I hadn't really thought about that until that comment came in. But the chain coffee shops especially, I think, there are some really nice independents that have got a healthy approach to snacks, if you can find them. But yeah, the big ones, they don't tend to do well, do they, with snacks that aren't just kind of sugary laden everything. And some people genuinely do want this stuff. They want to go out and enjoy a nice treat, but also feel like they're being kind to themselves. Pixie also said that she realised when she didn't buy into the Slimming World approach when she briefly considered becoming a consultant. She said, I couldn't bring myself to recommend it to others. So much is outdated. Yeah, I did it too. I felt exactly the same. I considered it. I considered doing the training. But I was getting more and more frustrated with the plan and how I couldn't stick to it. And then I was like, I can't encourage others to do this. I really can't. Interesting, huh? Come comment on my videos or on the podcast or send me messages or whatever, social media, whatever. Yeah, let me know. Make it clear in there that you're talking about the podcast and then I will add you to the comments for the next one that I record. Right. I love you and leave you. Have a wonderful week. We're just coming into Easter soon, aren't we? So have a wonderful Easter. I sent my membership gals a little treat box for Easter. I like doing nice little things like that for people. And my members get some treats every now and again. So I sent them little Easter boxes last week. I sent them some chocolate because it's Easter and some other bits and pieces, a nice little card and things in there. So I do like to treat my members every now and again. I think they deserve it. Right. Anyway, yes, have a lovely Easter. I went off on a bit of a tangent there. Have a lovely Easter. And I will speak to you next week, I guess. Stay well. Look after yourself. Enjoy your food without any guilt, please. And yeah, I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.